Assalamualaikum and hello to everyone. Today I'm doing my individual oral presentation for my course LSP 300 Group 4 and my name Kasmini Binti Aziz with my topic Introduction to Printmaking. My first slide, I will be introduce you to printmaking. What is printmaking? Printmaking is essentially the process of creating of original print by transferring an impression from one surface to another surface. It is not a direct process such as drawing or painting, but any method that allows an artist to create an image in one place that is then transferred to another surface. Before computers and inkjet printer, everything used printed in one of only way. Commonly basic technique of printmaking such as relief, intaglio, lithographic, and stencil. And my next slide is about printmaking history background. A brief history about printmaking. The print history in Malaysia was brought from China to Singapore in 1914s. Print technique were brought into Singapore through Nanyang Academic, and Malaysians who were studying at the Institute of Art in Singapore have pioneered print and expanded art technique in Malaysia, the printing technique. And many print artwork in Malaysia were using a woodcut technique. For instance, and for example, the awaiting theme was the result of the work of Tan Ti Che, and puppet show like the image on my slide is one of the puppet show by Lim Mu Hee. The result of their work is to repair a toe of the themes of genre and society to like nature and landscaping as source of their idea. Next slide is about my first point to introduce the four techniques that I just said. The first technique is relief. A relief printing is a process consistent of cutting or etching a printing surface in such a way that all the remain of their original surface is the design to be printed. And the ink is applied to the right side that surface with a roller, I mean the design surface, and paper is placed over the inking matrix and rubbed or pressed to transfer the image. You can rub it or press it to transfer the image by spoon or roller to make sure the ink is stick to the paper. And the matrix used in relief printing is usually linoleum or wood block. And the technique of relief printing is wood cut, lino cut, and wood engraving. Lino cut, we are using lino block. The technique was also the same as wood cut, but using a different material. My next slide is the second technique is intaglio printing. This intaglio printing is the opposite of relief printing. In this print is done from the ink that is below the surface of the plate or the depression in the plate that hold the ink. And then damp paper or plate are run through a press like the image on the center in my slide there. The technique of intaglio printing is engraving, dry point, etching, mezzotint, and aquatint. Like you can see the process in the image on my slide there, and the matrix of intaglio printing, you have to use metal plate or hard plastic cover. Example of metal plates, you can use copper, zinc, aluminum, or magnesium. Planographic. Planographic technique, also known as lithographic, it is a printing technique that invented in the 19th century by German private Alois Sennenfelder. And unlike relief and intaglio printing, the metric used in lithography is completely flat. And this printing works under the principle that water and ink do not mix. You can see in the image there on my slide is the process of you to use planographic printing. And the last technique was the stencil printing. Stencil printing, also known as silk screen and screen printing, is a process which involves cutting of the design on special paper or cardboard or metal sheet in such a way that when ink is rubbed over it and the design is reproduced on the surface. Their image on the slide there is show you how the process of using silk screen. Next, I want to introduce to you guys some famous printmakers that they will show the four technique of the printmaker. And the first artwork was the Great Wave of Kanagawa, also known as the Great Wave or simply the Wave, is a woodblock print by the Japanese uh, ukiyo-e artist Katsushika Hokusai, created in 1831, and the artwork was also the first print in Hokusai series 36 view of Mount Fuji. And the next artwork is the G3, is a artwork created in 1643, print in Cheching and Jaipur by Rembrandt. The artwork was one of his largest landscape prints. This artwork also show you the finishing artwork in intaglio technique. Next is the third artwork is about the Bulls of Bordeaux. Is a series of 4 lithography and featuring scenes of bullfighting by Printmaking Francisco Goya. This artwork also produced in 1825 during its exile in France. This artwork shows you the third technique that is planographic in lithography printing. And the last artwork and also the last technique that I introduced to you, the stencil printing, also using the technique silk screen lah. This artwork titled The Marilyn Diptyque is a silk screen printing by American pop artist Andy Warhol depicting Marilyn Monroe. This piece is one of the artist's most noted work and also created in 1962. Now it is in the collection of the Tate. Okay, that's all for my presentation for today. Thank you.